All right, everybody, welcome back. We are diving deep today
Deep?
to
That's very
Bitcoin.
good. Yeah.
Specifically,
Yeah.
this pretty wild prediction that it's going to hit $100,000 by the end of November.
Whoa.
Right. And we're basing this deep dive
100,000.
on some insights from this really interesting finance and crypto YouTube channel
Okay.
that's known for being super up-to-date and timely with their info.
Oh, right.
So let's jump right in.
Yeah, what's really interesting about this is this prediction isn't just some random guess like out of thin air, you know?
Right.
Bitcoin has actually already surged like 20% this month alone.
Wow.
And November, historically speaking, tends to be a really strong month for it.
Okay, so historically strong, is there a reason for that? Like, what is it about November that gets Bitcoin going?
Well, there are a few theories floating around out there.
Okay.
One idea is that it might be linked to, the holiday season.
Oh, okay.
People are spending more, and maybe some of that spills over into crypto.
Yeah.
Another thought is that institutions are maybe doing some end-of-year portfolio adjustments.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin, as it matures as an asset, is becoming more and more appealing to those bigger players.
Interesting. So it's like a perfect storm almost.
Yeah.
You've got the holiday spending, you've got the big institutions kind of looking at their books.
Exactly.
And then on top of all that, you've got this thing called halving that everybody keeps mentioning.
Yeah.
Halving.
What does that even mean? And how does it fit into this whole picture?
Okay, so imagine like a faucet, right?
Okay.
And it's slowly dripping out Bitcoin.
All right, I'm with you.
Now, every 4 years, that drip rate gets cut in half.
Oh, wow.
That's halving.
Okay.
It's actually programmed into Bitcoin's code.
Interesting.
It's designed to control the supply,
So it's like a built-in scarcity thing?
Exactly. Less Bitcoin coming in, demand staying stronger, increasing.
Right.
Price goes up. It makes sense,
Yeah, that does make sense.
And this is actually the fourth time it's happened since Bitcoin started.
And if you look back historically,
Yeah.
we've seen some pretty big price jumps in months after each halving.
So it's like a pattern almost, a cycle.
It really does seem that way. A lot of analysts keep a close eye on it.
Okay, so that explains the halving thing. I'm starting to get it.
Right.
So is that like the main reason then that we're seeing these really bold predictions?
It's definitely a part of it.
Okay.
You mentioned Bigot Research and Bitfinex, these big names.
Yeah,
Are they actually saying $100,000?
they are. They're putting their weight behind it.
Wow.
And it seems like it's based on this combo of having the November momentum
Yeah.
and just the way the market is right now.
It's all lining up.
There's this one analyst from Bigot, Ryan Lee, and he said if Bitcoin just follows its usual historical trends,
Uh-huh.
a 14.7% increase from where it is right now would take it way past that $100,000 mark.
So basically, if it just does what it normally does,
Exactly.
we hit 100,000.
Pretty wild, right?
Wow.
Okay, so we've got the halving, we've got the market conditions, we've got November. But on top of all that, there's this other thing that no one really saw coming.
What's that?
Trump. He's back in the White House.
Ah,
And some people are thinking that his administration might actually be good for crypto.
interesting.
Do you think that could actually have an impact on the price of Bitcoin?
I think it's definitely something to consider
Okay.
because, regulatory clarity and government support
Right.
can be huge drivers for any market.
Especially crypto.
Exactly, especially one as volatile as crypto. So if the U.S. signals that they're going to be more open to Bitcoin and crypto adoption in general,
Mm-hmm.
it could definitely attract more of those institutional investors
Oh, yeah.
and just boost confidence in the market overall.
Okay, so that makes sense.
And in fact, some analysts from Bitfinex have even suggested
Yeah.
that we could see gains extending all the way into early 2025,
Wow.
influenced by things like potential interest rate cuts and, of course, that reduced Bitcoin issuance from the halving.
So it sounds like this $100,000 Bitcoin is starting to sound pretty realistic.
Yeah, it's definitely within the realm of possibility.
But I got to ask, what about the risks?
Ah, yes, good point.
It can't all be good news, right?
Well, one of the big concerns right now is leverage.
Leverage. Okay, explain that one to me.
So basically, a lot of traders are borrowing money
Oh,
to amp up their bets on Bitcoin.
I see.
If the price goes up,
They make bank.
huge wins, but if it drops,
Oh,
their losses get magnified.
ouch.
And that can trigger like a chain reaction of selling.
Oh, I see. So it pushes the price down even further.
Exactly. It's kind of a domino effect.
That doesn't sound
It
good.
can get a little hairy. And there's this guy, Chris Marszalek, the CEO of Crypto.com. He's been pretty vocal about it.
Really? What's he saying?
He's basically calling for a leverage cleanup.
Leverage cleanup, so less borrowing.
Exactly. He thinks that for Bitcoin to reach these crazy price targets like $100,000,
Yeah.
it needs to be done sustainably.
Yeah.
Less reliance on borrowed money, more focus on organic growth.
So it's not just about getting to $100,000. It's about getting there in the right way.
Exactly. Responsible and sustainable for the long term.
Wow. This is fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So just to recap, we've got this exciting possibility of Bitcoin hitting $100,000.
Yeah.
Fueled by the halving November momentum,
Yeah.
maybe even some help from the political landscape.
It's all in play.
But we've also got to be aware of the risks, especially all this leverage that's floating around out there.
Absolutely. Always important to consider both sides of the coin.
Always. So what do you think? Is Bitcoin going to hit $100,000 by the end of November?
Mm.
And if it does, how's that going to change things? Will it impact the global economy, how we think about money, finance?
Big questions.
Big questions indeed. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.